Welcome, welcome, welcome to this week's episode of Daddies Matter Too, off the cuff with your girl Brenda Brown, aka the Chocolate Child. That's right, y'all. I had such a good time earlier today that I was about to call out the same name. It's like making that mistake. Wait, never mind, wrong show. Welcome to our Fatherhood Forum, where we get together with our fabulous fathers and catch up with them in their journey in fatherhood. We have got a hot show for you, and we are excited and ready to get to it. So, like we do every episode, we start off with our fatherhood song of the week, and it is last week the same song as it is this week, and probably for future more. Talking to My Daughter by L. Dot. Shout out to you, positive vibes. Your face is missed. Let's go.
It's been a while since we talked, huh? Come see your smile when we walked up. Had a couple obstacles and trials I couldn't chalk up. So I changed my vision and my vibe when we sparked up. Now trust is not dependent, but it's easier to go through it. Facing all these demons in my life, I had to own to it. Boxing in the canvas, solo, had to show, prove it. Foundation built for it tough. I would not lose it. Walking in this path, I swear to God, right there was very scary. Had to trust in you. And a son that came from Virgin Mary, if I could turn the hands of time before obituaries, I still would let you go. Cause this world ain't really living clearly. Children getting kidnapped by the second, couldn't witness that. If a kid from hitting came up missing, then my vision black. The end of that. I never wish to live a scene from Cinemax. Learning how to live in this world different, I'm just getting that. I'm just talking to my daughter now. I'm not. I've seen you grown to be a warrior, huh? Baby gotten bigger, I salute you, little soldier, huh? Funny how you teaching daddy wisdom, now you're older, huh? Don't go pointing fingers at your poppy like I told you, huh? Took a minute, now I get it. One life that we live in, gotta live it. Breakfast never promised, now go out and get it. Watch me get it. Popeye's on lock, and he got his spinach. Had to make my walk a little different. That's because the picture for my kittens mimic from my vision, couldn't let them live it. No more walking the path of a hoodlum. I was slowly ending, no pretending. When I say I miss your foot, I'm never kidding. I really miss your foot, I'm never kidding. But I keep on pushing for your siblings, that's why I'm still living. Glad you taught me how to keep on lifting when I'm slowly digging. I know in life there is a lesson. Every section of my blessing is a test for manifesting, yeah. I'm just talking to my daughter now. Yeah. I'm just talking to my daughter now. Yeah. See, all I cried was pain. It was all about letting go, yeah. But see, with time comes change, yeah. Cause for my daughter, I'm not letting go, yeah. It was all about letting go, yeah. Cause for my daughter, I'm not letting go, yeah. Cause for my daughter, I'm not letting go, yeah.
That song just gets better and better and better and better. Shout out to L. Dot. I hope you feel better. We are sending positive thoughts and prayers out to you. Speaking of our fatherhood forum this week, let's say hello to our fabulous fathers. First up, we got Marky White the second. How are you, Mark?
Doing great. Still here, kicking. Be here as long as you'll
Oh,
have me. I appreciate you so much, Brenda. Thank you so much for having us.
oh man, I look forward to these Sundays. I like to kick back. I have so many questions about the week. There's so much going on, and you know what? I run to this show, so thank you for being a part and showing up for fatherhood. Next up, we have Brian Keith Walker Sr. How are you, Brian?
Hi, I'm thankful. Good to be here. Good to see Mark. Good to see you, Mrs. Brenda Brown, aka the Chocolate Child.
Ooh, I love that. I'm gonna get me a drop one day of it sounding just like that. Oh, it is so good to see you fellas here. And as I always say, as long as I have one father on the stream, we have a show. So, for all of you guys who are tuning in today, tomorrow, and beyond, we have good news for you. It's easy for you. You thought it was easy to join us on Roku. It has become even easier now. We are 24/7. So get ready for fatherhood all day, all night. It's about to come hard and fast. And I need to stop hanging out with comedians, I swear. Anywho, thank you guys for tuning in. It is going to be a great show tonight. I can't wait to ask my fathers some questions. So in the meantime, I let's catch up with our fathers in their fatherhood week. If I can get this to agree with me here. You know, it's something when you're trying to do the show out of Starbucks. That it's crazy, but that's how much I like doing the show. So here we go. Okay, here we go. I promise this should be it. All right. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Tell the people tuning in today, tomorrow, and beyond more about you and catch us up in your journey in fatherhood.
My full journey in fatherhood is 30 years of being a father,
Whoop, whoop.
and I'm 9 years into being a grandfather.
All
And
right.
I'm telling you, so I don't try to, I'm not trying to push their path. I'm going to let them be themselves. If they need that support, I will give them my advice based on what I know. And I tell you, a lot of it's not what I know, it's what I learn. And I just let them be themselves. It's you get one chance at this life. I'm gonna let them live it and let them understand it and learn it and love it. And they live with me now, so they hear enough of my comments all day long.
I love it. See, I love that you are that parent who just you're like a free range parent. You're a
Yeah.
free range dad. You're like just don't burn anything down and just don't break anything and we're good. So, welcome to the show, and I can't wait to get your point of view. Brian Keith Walker Sr., tell the people tuning in today, tomorrow, and beyond more about you and catch us up in your journey in fatherhood.
Well, it started for me when I was 16. I'm 53. I'll be 54 August 21st, coming up the Lord's will. But I started when I was 16. I took care of someone else's children, the ages of 1, 5, and 1, 3, and 5, three children. That was Lashanita, Marcus, and Michael. And I raised them till they were like in their 20s. Telash was in her 20s. She was 5 at the time. So after that relationship, I ended up having one and having a son of my own who is now 30. And I just officiated his wedding. And in that time, I met a young lady. I mean, her had two children together, a boy and a girl. And they're in college now. So it just gave me a friend of the family's child. She's 14. We used to take care of her when she was 2 and 3. And she's getting started in life with us to get a good track on life. So I guess it doesn't stop. You always need it, when you're on the battlefield of livelihood, you can help out others as you go along. I do. I was raised that way. So because it sort of comes off as, giving people an opportunity to count on somebody in a sound doctrine and sound mind. Children and people need to know that or feel where they can trust somebody and depend on the proper source of information. You know what I mean? To get you
I
started.
do. I know exactly what you mean. And it is so cool that you are that person. The more I get to know about you, Brian Keith Walker Sr., the more impressed I become. Like, seriously, you guys are a great representation of fatherhood on opposite sides of the spectrum. And I'm hoping that this show, more than anything, might just spark a fire in someone one day for them to do something good with the rest of their life because fatherhood is very important. And when you when you father a child, you father a nation. Isn't that what they said? I
Yes.
be thinking that that's what they said, right? When you father a child, you father a nation, because every child is going to have their own nation, and I just, oh my gosh, I am ready to show the world that you guys matter too. Not only matter, but matter too. You know what I mean? Like in addition to. So this is the good part, the groovy part, getting to know you. We get to play some games with our fathers and see, kind of poke around under the shell and see what they're made of. Fellas, are you down to clown just a little bit for fatherhood?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay! I am so digging it. Okay, so this is called the 60-second sit down. This is where I will ask you both each one question and you guys get 60 seconds to answer it. So make sure you take up your full 60 seconds, okay? Got
Yes.
me? All
Yes.
Understood.
right. So this is meet, marry, murder. So I'm going to show you a picture of three individuals, and you're going to tell me which one's which. Shout out to Reese Peace. This is dedicated to you, sir. All right, fellas, since it's just you two, I can definitely do this. Meet, marry, murder. Which of these ladies are you going to meet? Which are you going to marry? Which are you going to murder? Brian Keith Walker.
All right. I need to I need to know a little bit about some of them, if it's okay. Who's the lady, the third picture right here with the earrings, the hoops?
Okay, like I thought you was gonna tell me. I know she's in government. She's running for
All right.
something.
Who's the lady in the middle? Is that a
That's a
That's Jill.
Biden.
That's Jill Biden, the one in the middle. I know her.
all right, okay. I
So
hate to have to.
obviously, all you know is Kamala Harris, huh?
Well, I'll meet the lady in the middle.
Okay.
I'll meet Biden's wife. I'll meet her. Marry Jill, no, Kamala Harris, and I murder the other lady. I murdered, pow, pow, get her. Got her.
Yeah, because you don't know who she is.
Right.
All right, Marky White the second. Meet, marry, murder, and you get a new set of pictures because it's just the two of you.
Oh,
So, who are we going to meet, marry, murder? What's going on?
well, I'm gonna marry Dave Chappelle, and is that first one Trevor Lawrence? I
Uh,
is I don't know who. I know this.
Trevor. It is Trevor. Trevor
Yeah,
Noah. Trevor
Noah.
Noah.
No, I'm sorry, Noah. Yeah, I would like to actually meet him because he went through some cannon fodder with his show. I would love to meet him in the South African thing. And then I don't like that lady at the end, man. She's the meanest lady ever. I would have to murder
Oh,
her.
Amy Schumer.
I
Dun,
would
dun,
put Miss Schumer
dun.
on a steak and slowly slice her day by day. Yeah, she's just a mean
Oh,
person. She's just
oh
mean.
no,
But
that's mean.
Me and Dave would make such beautiful babies.
You guys probably totally would. All right, next question in our 60-second sit or yes, our 60-second sit down since you guys didn't take 60 seconds on that. Pick one of these topics and give us 60 whole seconds. Either three facts about you, three favorite songs at the moment, three things on your bucket list, three reasons you joined Daddy's Matter too, three turn ons, three turn offs, three places you'd love to visit, or three favorite foods. Brian Keith Walker, you're up first.
Well, I'll take the three favorite foods. And three favorite foods right now is beets, fruit, and juice in a blender in the morning is my favorite food now. A smoothie drink.
Ooh, that sounds so good. What's your favorite kind?
Beets, pomegranate, and like mixed fruit.
Ooh, beets? I was gonna ask, do people even eat beets anymore?
I
But
don't
you
know,
just
but it's
proved
good. Beets, pomegranate juice, and fruit. Let
Okay.
my body sit down. And then real
Mark
quick, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Mark E. White, pick one of these categories.
Turn
And
ons.
oh boy.
Three favorite turn on. First, I gotta give Brian a heads up. He's spoken just like a true AARP member. That's a pure retired man's diet there. Confidence. A woman that's got confidence, a man that's got confidence, don't care about anybody. You gotta have confidence. That's your first turn on. Two, independent. Independent of everybody else's views. Have your own views. Be your own person. And then three, a booty. You gotta have a booty. If you got a booty, show it off. I tell you what, a thong will stop me every time. It'd be like, whoop. Just like that other day, you had the frozen woman. Whoop! I see a thong, and I'm like, yes, ma'am. I don't care. I don't care if
Oh
you're
boy.
300 pounds, 400. You wearing it, you own it. You know it.
Oh, oh my dear Jesus, where I can see how this episode is going to go. But I do have some questions. So thank you for for allowing us the opportunity to get to know you both. And this sounds like a good time for a station break. I am so proud of us. We are now 24/7 on Roku. So it's now super easy to join us because you can join us whenever you want. You could join us right now. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to see the show. You're going to access your Roku device. You're going to download the UBS and TV app. You're going to search Sauce in the City and you're going to see us. Us. And this is including you when you're on the show too. All right, you guys. Now, dun, 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 that we played a game, it's on to a more serious section. Because you know what? I have some questions, and I had some questions earlier, and I would love to get the fatherhood point of view on some of this stuff. So I'm going to wait till my computer catches up to me. Hold on. Because it's like, I don't want to do that. What if I don't want to do that? And I'm like, please, please. All right. Here we go. This was a question that came up earlier. So on the agenda, we have this topic in the shoot. It came up at a meeting that I was at, wherein comedian Jess Hilarious is standing up for women, natural born women all over the world, stating that natural women are in charge of the periods and the birth giving because we're the only ones that can do it. While then transgender women want the suffix trans dropped from their gender. And also, they want Aretha Franklin to stop singing, "You make me feel like a natural woman." Woman. So, what we were talking about, why this applies to fatherhood, is when your children are in school. And what if your child went to their teacher and they were saying that they were having these types of feelings? Would you want the teacher to be required to come and tell you about it so you can deal with it as a parent? Or do you think that they have a responsibility? I just like to know from a fatherhood point of view because I already have my opinion as a mom. All right, Brian Keith Walker Sr., what do you think?
Well, I think that if the child goes to someone outside the home and discusses their sexual preference or who they want to be, that that's okay as long as you open up to somebody. And if they bring it to the parent, that's good too, so everybody can discuss it. I don't think there should be no hiding on either side. But if it's hard to communicate about it, express it to who you can or you feel comfortable with.
Okay, I can dig it. So you would want to be told. You would want the school to come and tell you.
Also, too, I want to iterate the too. Sometimes children can be impressed upon. You know what I mean? Like my child liked the Angels. We went to the Angels baseball team, and then maybe a month later he was loving the Dodgers. Now, if that would have been a natural choice, I'd have been okay with that. But I used to be a parent that drops off the child like a dry cleaning, thinking it's the school's responsibility. But I
Uh-huh.
ended up going into the school and becoming a president of the association they had for coloreds, and they had one for Spanish people called ELAC. And come to find out, he was influenced by the librarian who had a lot of time with the children, and she loved the Dodgers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sometimes you can be influenced without knowing it into things, and you're not making your own decision, although it seems like
Okay, and I think I mean, doesn't matter what I think, but from a fatherhood point of view, it should be the parents, what the parents think overall. If somebody has to be picked to tell, tell the child what they think, it should be the parents, right?
yes.
Okay, see,
But
that's what
I
I'm.
just want to reiterate that sometimes the child is in the school system way more than it is with the family at home, and so it can
Okay,
be influenced and not a natural, or you know what I mean, a natural decision. That's what I don't want to forget that because I went through that in my personal life. That your child can be influenced into things thinking it's their natural choice, but they've been influenced and not knowing it.
okay. We
I
don't
be
want
thought
you to
about
forget it. Yeah, we don't want you to forget it either. But yeah, we got to get along. Get along. What do you think, Marky White?
Parents always must be informed. The child may not come to the parent initially. The child may feel more comfortable with a teacher, with somebody at the school. Uh, that's just fact. But the parent has to be informed and part of the solution. I'm not saying the person has to be called on the phone and say, "Hey, your kid's up here saying they feel one way or the other." There needs to be a well formed conversation. There's obviously a reason the child felt more comfortable with the teacher. To Brian's point, children do spend more time at school or daycares with other people outside of the family because families are typically two or more. Are out working, so others are raising your kid. Uh, to be influenced, some people can be misguided. You want to find out, make sure that they're not misguided. It's true feelings and why they came to their feelings. So I really believe you have to include the family first off. You think of anything else, if that child's driving the car at 16 and hurts somebody, it's going to go back to the family because that's your child to a point, and that's our system. So if something happens and that child is going forward to a school official, the family must be informed. And then we have to get through to the other, aspect of it. Is the family going to ostracize the child or do something? And there's enough resources out there that we can get it. A lot of it's going to be made on ignorance. I grew up in a time where if you said you were gay, you were going to get scrutinized, you were going to get abused, you were going to get ridiculed, you were going to just be what's wrong with you. And then we are becoming more accepting. And I think as a culture we have to be understanding first. And there's a lot of people that stay ignorant about it. But as far as a natural woman, natural women have a host of different abilities. They have a lot of things that a trans cannot have. A
Well,
natural.
you having a daughter,
Hmm.
uh, and a natural born daughter,
Yep.
will decide. She'll decide where she's going later in life when that's appropriate, right? But
Yes.
should if that's what she wants to be called, shouldn't that be her right to be called that if
Yeah.
that's what she wanted?
Exactly. She should, and that's it. She's earned it. And because there's a lot of trial and tribulation as a young woman that you have to go through that a lot of us don't have to go through. I mean,
Right.
there- that's an earned thing. I mean, just to go to the thing of it, I agree. We know where I fly, but I do agree one thing. We have made such a big deal out of it. As biologics go, you're born a male or female. You got an X or a Y chromosome. That's it. There's nothing spectacular about it. The rest of it is a feeling. It's an idea. It's in our head. It's where we feel our comfort zones, and that's what we're trying to get out there. We're only there's only two options, unless you're a hermaphrodite. Then there's three basically, I guess, but they go really. They're the true bisexual. But
I like I
yeah,
understand that, and that is a great point. You're only born one, this way or that way. And for all intents and purposes, that's what I mean by everybody leave each other alone, because I
yeah,
think that by virtue of us all arguing about it, which is you have to see it my way. You have to see it my way. You have to see it my way. And it's like, why? What does my life have to do with your life? you
right.
can you can see it as a rainbow behind you, and I can say it's a band of colors. It doesn't matter. Like, and so people, I wanted to know how you guys felt as fathers about this information being, given to your kids on such a regular basis, but now your grandkids. And like Brian was saying, sometimes you can be kind of uh, led that way without them intentionally trying to do it, but by opening it up and letting everybody be so expressive, sometimes, maybe the heterosexual way needs to be, on the same playing field. Like if you're able to do all of this in LGBTQIA, maybe doing all of this in heterosexual is, you know, to expose the child to all options. But heterosexuals have never, I don't think, now maybe I'm wrong. Let's get your point of view on this. Have any heterosexuals ever walked around to you and said, "I'm heterosexual"? Maybe it's just me.
No,
No?
I do it all the time now.
I'm gonna start doing it. No.
Every time I take the stage, I love my gal. Look, I like to pound my gal. Look,
Okay, okay. I'm just kind of wondering because I'm like, that it just seems so weird that people would definitely and totally take such a position. I say it's up to each individual parent, and not just the moms, dads. It's up to you guys.
okay. I gotta ask a question. I know, Mark, you can't answer all these questions, but you're the representative today. Okay, I don't know the gentleman's name, but he was a football player,
Yeah,
and he was coming out at the when they select the football players. You know what I mean?
yeah, the
What they
draft.
do, the draft. And he wanted to kiss his mate on TV and show all that and make the announcement. That's what I'm saying. Why is that? Why can't you just play football and be who you are? Why does it have to be a big parade every time somebody's doing so? That's what I understand. I'm not downing it. I'm just asking the question to understand it for those that maybe don't understand. What's the announcement? In other words, if I was going to run for president, I have to make a statement. Hey, I'm running for president, so people can be aware. Why do I have to say I like this dude to everybody like I'm running for president? Why is that necessary? Why can't he just like the dude and live life?
I think what his message was is to the future kids coming up there, because there's a lot of folks that, I mean, especially you think football, it's a man's sport. I think his he was trying to send a message to the younger generations. Look, it's okay. You can be this big man and still enjoy the company of another man. In the army, we had a lot of that.
Or don't ask,
it's
don't
like,
tell. So in other words, the thing
yeah.
isn't it don't ask, don't tell in the policy that was doing like be who you are, but don't say nothing.
Yeah, and it was, and we didn't say nothing. And you didn't. You went on with your business. But today's world, it seems there's a difference. They want people to know. They want them to say, "Look, you're not really different. You're going to be accepted." And again, I try to go back to what Dr. Martin Luther King and them had said. We have to go. People were not getting a chance to sit in those diners until those folks said something. So now,
Well, but I'm just saying you can't hide your skin color, Mark.
no, you can't.
And then the thing was too, other whites that started this country. I'm just finding out from history now. I can speak fact now.
Yeah, yeah.
Other people that started this country were what they call abolitionists. Well, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
use that word towards them then. John
Yeah.
Adams was an abolitionist. that wrote the Massachusetts Constitution you were talking about earlier. The first
And Mom
Constitution
Bet.
earlier.
Yep.
Right. So when you find whites that want white only, like Andrew Jackson, then there's a discrimination where you got to protect somebody. Because there's in other words, if there was a no offense, but I have to compare it to that, like a pedophile, and a pedophile was touching the children, we would have to look out for that now. That's what happened. That's what happened to America. Government been looking out for the slave people because other people were attacking them and using policies against them and making them disenfranchised. So now government making policies that overbearing into what they shouldn't be doing normally because of somebody else like a pedophile doing things. But we don't capture that. So the same people it's meant to stop come around in government without people knowing it and say, hey, government should be doing that to get rid of it so they can do what they're doing to a culture. So anyway, I revealed that by knowing who it is by saying Jacksonian. Because for white folks only, it's different than equality for all.
Right.
People bash the creators of the country because of Jefferson having a black wife or a black slave woman and some children, and look at that as slavery when we should be mad at slavery because that was part of life.
Right.
You can't get reparations for slavery that happened in the 1500s because it came over to the continent of America because a lot of different countries dealt with slavery. You can't ask all the countries that own somebody to give you some money. That's not where reparations come from. But you can get reparations from those who, after slavery, United States was started, that continue slavery. United States can then, like if I hurt you, Mark, God forbid if I hurt you, but if I did and you survived, they will make me pay restitution, they call it.
Yes,
they would enforce it. That's what they can do. The United States can enforce, like a court, restitution to the slaves for the slave owners that had them in the South and so forth against the United States. United States is not for slavery, but the people that took over the country used the United States as a weapon against slaves and held on to slavery. We can show that now in history. It speaks for itself. Like the fire going around the circle around the ring of, it's like a fire blaze once you see it. You can see this country started and freed slaves by Mumbet. And the north side got free with Quake Walker, 1788. You can see freedom. Unless we recognize and see that as a whole, we're going to think the slaves only got freed in Juneteenth. That's not true.
Yeah.
Just looking at the other side of the coin, like we're saying today. Daddies matter. Well, the slaves that got free, like Mumbet, mattered. The slaves that were free in the North mattered. The white men that helped them be free with the Constitution mattered. Court mattered when they came out free. So we don't see that and talk about it. We'll just think it's Andrew Jackson without saying it, that Andrew Jackson's work was the forefathers' work, what it wasn't. We got to separate those two and show that he took over to change it to what we don't like today.
Right.
Because right now we're blaming the people that didn't do it in the beginning for stuff they didn't do, because nobody talks about Mumbet and what they did do. Anyway, I guess I'm talking about it.
I understand it, and I understand. So I think we get back to the original point: is why do they have to do it? Why do we have to raise the flags? Why do we have to go down and have marches? Why do we have to do things in public? I think the more it's more of an acceptance thing. A lot of it I don't agree with. I really don't. I don't participate in parades. I don't go. My business is my business, and because that's It's not like I'm out freaking flying the flag everywhere I go. I do what I want to do.
I gotta ask that question. Yeah. How did you know you were like that? Like, when did you become? You know what I'm saying?
As soon as they opened,
like a dude, I would never think you was, right?
As soon as they opened up the I2A plus, I was right there. I was like, man. But again, it's never defined me. I'm married. I am in my wife and I've been married for 32 years.
Right.
And we made a covenant with each other. And as we grew older, like everybody, things changed. People got into different things. We have more open conversation.
Right.
So we were able to say, hey, well, this is me, this is you, and this is what you want, and this is what I want. But in the same instance, we are still linked to each other. We've lived in Germany. We've lived, abroad. We've served in wars. We've seen the worst there is of man and woman. And for us, our bond is beyond just whatever a sexual
sexual
preference is.
preferences. Right.
Yeah, we're a lot more keyed in. So what happens? Since I was 4 or 5, 6, I've had instances that I had an experience at 10 that was not very fun. It was something that I still think about. My wife has had experiences when she was young, and things like that. So we start having more commonality once we are open and honest with each other. Now,
Right.
it just is it something that we do and you champion? No, because what me and my wife champion is basically now, are we enjoying our life? You get to be and do what you want. Do I need to make it and just uncomfortable for somebody else by going out and kissing another dude in front of them? No, I don't need to do that. I think some of them are extreme, right?
So
Both
you don't
sides.
do the announcement to come out with your wife to the podium and say, "I am no longer screwing this lady."
She became she started abstinence with me back in 2019. Okay, so we've been off that rocker for quite some time.
You're the first person to go, "I am not screwing this lady anymore."
Yeah. So, she sees it.
Funny,
It's
man.
an open book. We don't hide things from each other. She lives on that side of the house. I live on this side of the house,
Right.
and everybody's welcome
I can
into the
see
core
you
of the house.
as a show to itself, man. Like All in the
I could be
Family,
a
you know
show.
what I mean? You're the new All in the Family dude now. Like All in the Family 2023.
Exactly. And we get into, there's things that she does that I don't want to hear about, and there's stuff that I do. And it's not, most people think about it like it's almost like an open relationship, right? But it's not. The core of the marriage is here. The heart and soul is here. Whatever that stuff out there is, that's just for fun. That ain't,
I've been with my spouse 21 years, man, and once you gel together, it's like nothing else. You're like institutionalized. I can imagine being somebody else right now.
Right, and it goes back again,
like
education. Yeah. So there's a whole other thing here is the education. We've been brainwash isn't a good one, but we've been driven to believe that you have to live life this way. You have to do this, you have to do that. The fact of the matter is you don't have to do anything except one, be kind to somebody else. Don't try to push your values or your beliefs onto somebody. You can share them with them, definitely share them with them. And if we don't agree, that's fine. I mean, we don't want everybody agreeing. Imagine if everybody was a Cleveland Browns fan. How weird would that be? All of us are different. We're all different. And
clearly everybody should be a Raiders fan. I mean, that's just dumb. Who would be all? I'm joking.
Yeah, I get it. But ever since Arnett went through with a damn baggie of cocaine and a straw, I was like, I can't be part of the Raiders no more. And then Carr, man, Carr was telling us a lot about it,
So, but you can't, just because all my pals do coke don't mean I do.
I get you.
Listen, just because I got this straw in my nose doesn't mean I'm doing the same thing. It just looks like it.
Right. So what is your goal, Brian? I think your goal is the same as mine. You want your kids, your daughters, you want them.
To me, I'm all about this, Doc. Everybody should go with what they know. So everybody should watch what they know. Because to me, I just share with you. I can do it. I can share it out now. You should hide it. It's like when I got a higher calling that blessed me to look the outlook on things, it asked me a question. And it said, "Who told you was naked?" Just from the story, you're supposed to be butt naked, Mark. But once knowledge comes in, then you know better. Then you start hiding because you don't want to be on screen naked because now you know you're naked, right? So when God come coming through the garden, they was hiding. He said, "Where are you?" He said, "We hid because we was naked." He said, "Who told you naked?" So now I realize you can learn things, but I wait on the proper source for me. And I want my child to be patient enough to wait on that source of knowledge, to go by things. Because if you rush too fast, you can learn things and not understand them. You know what I mean? Get them too fast and it can ruin you. So I learned to be patient and get information from the proper source so I feel confident in what I know. That's what I'm saying, that I look on life for me. And so I would want what I got to now for my children to do the same. But now realizing the choices are made, you get choices.
Yes, sir.
So everybody got to go by what they know. So I want my children to know what I know and that's a way of doing things. Like, what will are you going to do? Like you're saying, you can do what you want to do, which is true. Mm-hmm. So now the test is: are you going to do a certain will of knowledge that you got from a source, or are you going to do your own will? You know what I mean? Do thy will.
Yeah.
So that's what the choice is. So if I have patience enough to listen to a higher source to do what I know from what it shows me, because I got a relationship now that I can see. I don't follow people. I'll follow guidance. Like Pinocchio. I don't want to be a wooden boy. I want to be the wooden boy with guidance. Like the Godfather with the strings.
Understood,
I want the source of life to guide me. And I don't want to cut the strings and be the real boy. I want the guidance.
Yeah.
So put it this way, Mark. You're different than I. You probably go to the restroom and use the restroom at the urinal and then go wash your hands and dry your hands, right?
Yes, I do.
I don't do that. I go in, I wash my hands, then I touch my penis because I want to keep my penis clean.
Yeah.
I wash my hands before I touch my penis, not after. Listen to that. I don't wash my penis. I mean, I wash my hands after I touch my penis because I think it's dirty. I wash it before I touch it because I think it's clean.
I got you. Look, I'm the guy at the urinal. It's also going to look over, see what you're sporting, and be like, "Damn, Brian." Damn.
I see when you held your hands earlier. You was like, "My hands ain't showing up." Yeah, you do like this. Look. Yeah, I see you go like you be measured as you talking. Look. It's two things that we're talking about. Two, one long thing, two long things, one thing.
You washer before washy. I get it. No. So look, yeah, okay. So I grew up as a Southern Missionary Baptist, right? You know, born in the water, you know. But I've seen that life. I've seen those hills of Tennessee life. I've seen I've seen regular life. I've been with the biggest ball players you could ever imagine. We've seen, So the biggest thing that comes down to it, I did the whole do everything right, live it, take the job. Hey, be a man, get in the Army, be the meanest there is, never show weakness, never cry.
All that stuff.
All that crap.
All that
man.
manly bull crap.
I served on board an M1 Abrams tank, a battle tank. I loaded that son of a bitch when I first got in KKMC, Saudi Arabia. And I'll tell you what, not one person cared a crap about what you thought about the outside. My only thing was, did you have my damn back?
Right. We just hold together, can you depend on you?
Yep.
So trust.
Exactly. And when I got out, we made a lot of bad decisions in there. I'm going to tell you one thing. If you ever thought an American soldier was your knight in shining armor, we are our own knight in shining armor. We don't care what in the hell we kill, and we don't care what's in front of us. But when you start to look at the things that we did and you come back to this life, it's like, you know what? I don't even know why we have war no more. It kills me to think that we still have to have war. And what I want to try to bestow upon my family now is you guys don't understand like a lot of the hardships that are out there. You really don't. But I don't want you to have to understand all of them. We live that for you. We're getting you to that next level. We're going to take you up to the next board, and we're going to drop you off there. I would wish they never knew hurt. I wish that they never, knew anything, pain or loss. And what I want them to do is enjoy themselves. I know that, we've come a long way since the beginning of the Bible. All right. I don't think I'm here to judge. I think I'm here to guide you. I teach them right and wrong. They do. I'm very proud of my daughter. She does right and wrong, but she's doing the right thing. My granddaughter is having a blessed life right now because I think my daughter had to go through a lot of her trial and tribulations. It took me a while to get there, a lot of medication through the VA to get there and open my eyes.
Right.
Yeah, a lot. But I'm going to tell you, it's, I kind of think we're all similar, but we just want peace and we want people to accept everybody. I've seen racism. I don't like it. I don't know how anybody in the service can ever say when they come out of the service they're racist. I looked right and left, man. I saw every nationality. My gunner was from freaking Colombia. He wasn't even an American citizen. So we just need to embrace everybody. You're right. We don't need to show everybody everything. We really don't. We got to keep some things in the cupboard. But I think it's just everybody's kind of, they don't feel heard, but there shouldn't be, and there's a lot of racism. There's a lot of people that hire you based on certain things and not, and it's it gets so convoluted that we need to just stop the distractions of it all, and just do best by
To me,
everyone.
racism, to me, I'm just saying from knowledge now of learning. To me, racism isn't you don't want your daughter to sleep with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature.
Right,
Racism is when you think I'm an animal.
right. Well,
I'm
yeah,
just trying to share something with you. You're
yeah,
not the racist guy, right? Let me just finish it up. You probably look at me and say, hey, that's Brian. You can't probably fathom your neighbor looking at me as a goat or animal or a dog or a donkey. You know what I'm saying?
understood.
You don't think that he thinks that way. Like, no, man, come on, he don't think that. But yeah, he thinks I'm an animal and he can hang me tomorrow because you'll say my life matters. White people started Black Lives Matter. I've seen the signs. I ain't talking about the one in 2019 and 20. I'm talking
Right,
about back in the day. They used to
60s.
tell, no, way longer than that. They used
Yeah,
to tell, they used to tell the Southerner whites that the Black Lives Matter. They used to have a sign saying Black Lives Matter. And the whites will hang blacks just to show them this is my property that I do what I want.
yeah,
You can look now in Africa, they do rhinos that way. The whites are telling other people, poachers, the rhinos matter. And you'll see them hanging and doing the rhino for the horn, saying it's my property. I do what I want. That was
yeah,
more it was about the people that know the fight between whites. Fighting because not because they love the slaves, because they love God. And they felt that that was a human.
yeah.
And the other whites would say, no, this is my animal. That's the fight of slavery between the two. And you can
Right.
look back at history in movies where they're saying it and the writer's saying it. When they come to town, the one preacher is saying, this is my brother. And the other, because it's a military conflict. They used to make people come down there and buy gold, give them gold to vote, trying to bring slavery up north.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be quiet about it, but you're my
No.
brother. You see,
Yeah.
it's
See,
fair.
I just see you as Brian. The only thing I have a problem with is always remembering Keith in the middle. I know it's Brian Walker Sr., but I always
Right,
forget
Brian
Keith in
Keith
the middle.
Walker, yeah.
Yeah. But
But,
see,
but,
some of those in the homosexual, and you got even those that were gifted at birth were treated differently. They had some of the first homosexual hangings and lynchings where people had their skin ripped from them with barbed wire. It's the
wow.
same thing, man.
Well, yeah,
Humans,
mad at
humans
somebody
are,
because of something you can't control.
yeah, and we once we get that cancer and that virus out of the species, that's only when we're going to know peace, man. But those evildoers are out there. They're everywhere.
But you're right. But
They-
identifying them, see, now we're able to identify the Jacksonian doctrine, what we're fighting against. When you see our
yeah,
children, getting shot in the streets with their hands up with no gun, and you look at it, you think it's the police department. Really, it's the Jacksonian that thinks that the life doesn't matter because it's an animal. It's not.
oh, I believe it.
That's
Yeah,
what's happening. So to be able to identify it as a plus, if Martin Luther King knew this, he had a better speech. No, I didn't say the speech wasn't beautiful, but I'm letting you know to see these things they help you know different. You see, my culture blames the United States for slavery, and that's wrong.
right.
Seeing Mom Bet shows you that the United States didn't continue slavery; they stopped it with the laws went into effect. We don't stop and appreciate that, so now we're misshifted on the story. But when you see somebody took it over and use it against you, you can change it.
Right, right. And I tell you what, it's you talk about the Jacksonians and those in charge, and being a comedian, you got to go back to George Carlin, man. He said it right. There's owners up there. They own all of us. I don't care if you're white, black, green, yellow. Those few, those in power, they are the ones that own us. It's not the politicians. The politicians sit there and listen to the lobbyists.
Right.
Politicians
The
are
people
owned
with the
just like
money.
us. That's all about that money and that power. And you know what? Once we all wake up, that's when things are going to change. But we all got to wake up. They like us all, confused down here. They like it. They don't like this. They don't like this. They don't like dads stepping up. They like to remove dads from the situation. All
Oh
right.
yeah, because knowledge, like you said, to someone to give an opinion. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. They don't want this. This is dangerous right now. There,
Man, look at you, man. You look at you. A dad, like you said, you've been through it, been through the service. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
And now, like you have an open mind, like you said, to express and learn yourself and your happiness in your later days. You know.
Well, you
And
know what it took? It took people like you, Brian. I sat with a man, David James, and that man told me he was one of the first black men to work in Delphi Chassis, Dayton, Ohio. Ball
wow,
player, played at University of Miami, Miami of Ohio, excuse me. And he told me what it was like back then. He told me being a black security officer coming in to Delphi, the things that were said to him, the things that he had to endure, how he had to hold his head up high and keep those lips tight. He would sit there and take it and be had things thrown at him at guard duty, all kinds of stuff. Dave, he expressed those things. I sat in tanks with guys, same guys where everybody looked down, US Army. The things that people have to go through it's ridiculous, and it's a shame. It's a shame. And I just, my mind opened because I listened. We all have to listen.
right. Listen, that's the key word. Communicate. You know, that's what I honestly believe. It might not work because you're going to be repaired, but to repair the United States, we all got to be represented where we live at. That's the point to me.
Mm-hmm.
What color, what relationship you are, in your ward, in your area where you live at. There's, politics. There's a mayor. There's somebody to represent those people that live there, and that's what my culture should be more involved in. Some of us don't believe in voting, so we're just there and not a part of anything. We're not represented, and then we look up and see other people represented and not sure how it works and get mad about it. Like, man, they're represented. Why come I'm not? Because you don't vote and you're not part of the ward that you live in. You know what I mean? So I would like to see on a political standpoint, they bring back Jefferson's. Well, they give it to Jefferson, but really it's a how can I say it? It's a dim rep party. The first people of the country of the presidents were Federalists. The first 1 and 2, John Adams and George Washington were Federalists. They called it when you look it up. Then the next 4 presidents were dim reps. You were both parties at one time. A Democrat, Republican, Democrat-Republican. Is what the country is founded on, in the sense for equality for all men created equal,
all one.
Represent one person, and one person representing both parties when you win. When Andrew Jackson won as the 7th president, he made a Democratic Party only with no Republican Party, no dash, and it was for white folks only, not equality for all. That's what they called it, Jackass Jackson, and then they put the cartoonist do a donkey. And Jackson kept it as a smirk to him, and that was a donkey on the party saying Jackass Jackson. That's where it comes from. So my point is, if we can go back and look at that and see that happened, and then repair it and bring it back to dim rep for everybody, even you and I. See what I'm saying? No matter how you like it in the bedroom or how I like it in the bedroom, has nothing to do with it, because we're equality for all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So all those different parties, this Green Party and that party, can all come together and be the dim rep party, as long as you're not for white folks only party.
Right. Everybody's got they got skin in the game. Everybody.
You know what I'm saying? Should be in the dim rep party because it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Equality for all. You know what I mean? Bring it like that. Don't reinvent the wheel. You're only making these green parties because you don't know history. If you knew history, you would make a dim rep party and everybody can stand on it when it wins to represent everybody like it's supposed to be.
And everybody can be happy.
Well, they look at what Jackson did to correct it. I feel that's what it should do. I don't understand why it hasn't been corrected yet. Or do they know it?
I think they know it and they don't want it to go back. But right here where I'm at in Virginia, it's right here. I mean, Jefferson, Poplar Forest is just back behind us. This whole area is really, a little bit different here in Roanoke, Virginia, than most places throughout the country. I think this new governor we have, he seems to have his head on his shoulders, and it's not 100% in my liking, but I think we're all represented. I know here in Roanoke we are, and what it takes though is like I see this a lot. We have a lot of shootings at our northwest side, right? And then when the community comes together and the pastors come together, the news crews are there, and I noticed like, hey, okay, as a young black man has been killed, and all I see out in the crowd is just other people, the community, just black people out there with black preachers, and I don't see any white people there. Well, we need to all start and take ownership of this. They're all everybody's got to be there if we're going to go and we're going to get together.
I believe you're right, but what I do is I talk about this history mark for a reason, because a lot of whites in history put their life on the line for equality and were beaten down by other whites. When the Klan wore those masks and so forth, it wasn't to scare blacks. It was only. Right. It was to scare their political opponents that believed in equality for all.
Exactly.
So I think that if colored stand up for the whites that did right, like respect what, how they say in the hood, game respect game. If you, so if they
I absolutely agree.
Life on the line, and we represent that and notice it, we can differentiate. Make a difference between what we're looking at.
Yeah, and I tell you, here's the sad part. I see it happening right now. They're it's a different scale, but we're talking about, hey, we got, the Latinos are coming through the border. They're coming to take our jobs. That's the same exact scenario that the Klan and all those guys put in there. We don't want the blacks to come here. They're going to take our jobs. Then what are we going to do? And I just keep watching it, but I don't know at what point it ends. Every
Oh God, that was going to be such a good speech. We have come to the end of another episode of Daddy's Matter 2 Off the Cuff with your girl, Brenda Brown, aka the Chocolate Child. And I was going to interrupt, but these two feuding fathers had so much good banter going on that I just wanted to let them have it their way today. But we got to get out of here because we want to make this an actual hour episode. And time does fly when you're having fun. So if you guys want to see what happens next with these two feuding fathers, you guys can join us back here next week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for your next installment of That Is a Matter 2 Off the Cuff with your girl, Brenda Brown. That's me, aka the Chocolate Child, and our wonderful, fabulous fatherhood panel, which consisted of Mark E. White II and Brian Keith Walker Sr. It was a good episode, guys. Every side of the coin was represented. It was an all-out battle in fatherhood. But the one cool part is that they both have the one important thing in common. They both are fathers, and they want the best for us, which is always the really cool part about it. So we will end the show the same way we started the show, which is how we always go, and that rhymes, so you know it's true. But if you guys really want to catch up with us, you guys can catch up with us 24/7 live on Roku starting. I got some stuff to do. I got to get on it because we are on 4/7. All right.
Daddy!
What's our song?
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week.
It's been a while since we talked, huh? Come and take my hand. She just smiled when we walked up. Had a couple obstacles and trials I couldn't chalk up. So I changed my vision and my vibe when we sparked up. Now trust is not dependent, but it's easier to go through it. Facing all these demons in my life, I had to own to it. Boxing in the canvas, solo, had